Hello and welcome to the Full Force Weekly, proudly brought to you by Battle Action Force, the Treasury Editions. I am your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. In this episode, I bring you all the news from the past week in the world of G.I. Joe. So what is it, me? It's the Full Force Weekly. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Lots of you in the chat already. So just kicked off, but thank you very much. For all your comments so far, just saying hello and full force and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, lots of you here already. Great. Yeah, we've had a rather busy week in the world of G.I. Joe this week. I got 2 news bursts out, I think 2, maybe more. All sorts of cool stuff have been kicking off this week. So yeah, we've had leaks, we've had official sort of reveals that had already been leaked previously but are now out there for reals. So yeah, we'll be getting into that. We've had lots of comics news this week. It's been pretty cool. How have you all been doing this week? Are you having a good weekend so far? This Saturday, 3 p.m. Figure Six Pack said I had to wait through 3 adverts before the show started. Sorry, that sucks. I know, to be fair though, I have found that I think it definitely has increased on YouTube recently, because I was on the free trial I've been on the free trial about 4 times for the YouTube Premium, and it's such a better experience. You just like listening and watching stuff. You don't have to kind of mess with it. You can have stuff in the background, like you can, listen and watch whatever you want at any time without any ads. And that, like, I don't have it now because again, it's not free anymore. And I think the ads have ramped up on everything. So I watch all sorts of different channels and what have you, and I think I get to about 4 or 5 minutes before another advert kicks off, and it's just like, come on. But in any case, it's good for our channel if you guys are getting commercials, because then we obviously get something for that, ever so tiny piece of something for that. But apologies that you have to put up with that, guys. Yes, Royal Guard should be coming in soon as well. I think mine are on track for Sunday, I want to say. I've done the same. I've made the same mistake that I made at the last news burst I did, and I forgot to bring the Zargonauts downstairs. In any case, not a big deal. I do have obviously an image on screen about the Zargonauts, but those came in the other day from Skeletron. Phenomenal figures. I've already got Yetis, of course. They're here right with me. And yeah, so some cool stuff coming in at the moment. And this annoying thing happened the other day. I knocked my sci-fi. Fun for all you customizers out there. I knocked sci-fi off my display because I can't remember what I was doing. I was putting Lifeline back after gluing his holster back on, so fixing that, right? And my peak of my hat, annoyingly, poked sci-fi, who fell off the thing, hit the rattler, which was in front of the display on the floor. Didn't do any damage, thankfully, but it did break and you'll be like, break what, Chris? It broke the backpack peg. Now I have managed to fashion, by putting a metal nail in that side and a hole in the peg itself, and I've kind of fashioned this sort of like do it very quickly at the last minute while I'm just waiting for the show to start, so it fits back in there and everything. But that's my quick fix. So yeah, I will probably be gluing that peg on properly and having that metal piece as sort of like an extra to keep it sturdy. But that's working at the moment to kind of keep the backpack on pretty solid. Also, that extra bit of metal that's gone inside the plastic has obviously expanded it, so it's made it tighter in that hole, Kitty said. So it does stay on there pretty well. It's not a bad kind of like temporary sort of situation, but I ended up picking up another sci-fi just to make sure that backpack is, maybe got 2 different display options for him now, basically. But yeah, sci-fi is down. Call Lifeline, who had already had to be fixed because of the holster that I pulled off, thinking it was detachable. That wasn't an error that wasn't like a quality issue. That was me thinking it came off. and given it some welly, and it just went boop, and I'm like, why did I do that? Anyway, so the actual backpack peg I could take out as well, so it's not like it's wedged in there. I just, when I put it back in, it left it in there basically. Real Zim says, I did the same thing, Chris. I glued mine with Gorilla Glue and all good. I will get some glue on it as well, just to kind of hold it in place. But I knew that if I just glued it, that wouldn't be enough to kind of like keep it on there, because you know, you'd put it back in and it would snap again. So what I wanted to do was have that piece of sort of like metal almost inside, a tiny pin. I was trying to find something really, really thin, but we had like a tiny nail down in the basement that I was like, oh, that'll work perfectly. And yeah, it's done a good job in a temporary fashion at the moment. And like I said, I think a little bit of glue on there and I'll sort that right out. Carlos says, Chris, you should use all of the age demographics from your last episode to get sponsors, Rogaine, hymns, etc. Amazing. If you weren't present for my last news burst, I did ask in the chat how old everyone was, and it was really interesting to see all of the demographic come through. So anyway, enough of that. The peg is, I can eat the peg comes out easily, Stanley. There's no concern about that. It was I leave the peg in there in the back so that it can kind of like connect with that little metal pin for now. But I will be like, yeah, making a more kind of like, what's the word, like less temporary, more final. Anyway, Seymour is fine now. Thank you, Figure Six Pack. Should we get into the news? So, like I said, we've got a lot of comics news this week as well. Loads of previews to get stuck into, and a few other little updates. But yeah, let's do that. We'll start then with the comics. Yes, we've got some Skybound updates. So we've got Compendium version 2, I call it version 2, but it's like set 2, isn't it? And it's 1 and 2 for the Kickstarter. We've got a couple of new kind of bios that Skybound posted in regards to their Kickstarter compendium, which is coming soon. We've got, we've got New Comic Book Day, of course, with both A Real American Hero and Transformers. And we've got Silent Missions preview for the Crimson Guard issue, which looks amazing, by the way. Yes, Seymour Fine is Sci-Fi's real name. I understand the joke, Figure Six Pack. It's genius. It's genius. And permanent was the word I was looking for, Scott. Yes, indeed. So lots to get stuck into. We'll start with, of course, the coming soon to Kickstarter, the Compendium 1 and 2 sets. They posted, or Skybound posted, bio, kind of like, not bio, but sort of like a bit, this cutesy bit of art to give a first appearance of sort of scenario with Roadblock and Serpentor, showing the first issues they showed up in. For Roadblock, it was issue 22. I knew that off the top of my head. And 49, I think, for Serpentor, isn't it? I always, I hate the fact when I have to look at comic issue numbers on a Marvel comic. It's like there's like 20 numbers around it. There's like the price, which is bigger, and always throws me off. I'm always looking at that as the issue number, even though there's a cent mark next to it. But yeah, that has always kind of annoyed me, and I'm trying to look quickly at like a cover issue number. Anyway, Roadblock, of course, Marvin F. Hinton, and Serpentor, no name. Doesn't get one. But yeah, both those, I do like these sort of like fun little posts that they do with you know, with on the lead up to the inevitable Kickstarter, which should be with us on the 20, I forget the date now, of the Kickstarter, because it just eludes my brain. It's in March though. It's very soon. It's like a couple of weeks time, actually, I believe, when that goes up. The 24th, I want to say. But I'll just double check because I don't want to be saying the wrong things. Yeah, they don't tell me on that post, do they? Or have they said when it is? I'm sure they have. I could have sworn they had. Well, I'm certainly not gonna email you now, guys, am I? Why am I doing that? Um, in any case, it's soon. Link in the bio is where you can sign up for that, of course. GI Joe Kickstarter .com. And yeah, we got Roadblock, which is the strongest gourmet chef we know, who made his debut in G.I. Joe Real American Hero 22, and Serpentor, who got his in, like I said, 49, as the ruthless Cobra leader. Anyway, yeah, there you go. There you go. That's it for the Kickstarter updates. I do like these, like I said before. I like the kind of files on a desk sort of aesthetic. Use it ourselves, of course, for the redacted avatar or thumbnails. But yeah, I wonder who volunteered their fingerprint for the covers, giving away biometrics for free. I bet it was kind of like it doesn't really relate to anyone's. I reckon they've made it up. Also, the other thing I will say is fingerprints. They've been found to actually there are multiples of the same fingerprints, so it's not even like that good a way of IDing people necessarily. But in this case, yeah, it's only the one. I think you can get away with it. 24th, I was correct. Thank you, Mark. Big Bad Toy Store just delivered to my door, though no Joe's today, says Bad Wolf. That's a shame. All right, moving on from Kickstarter then. And also shout out to Talking Joe Comics. I'll be giving you another shout out at the end, but they've obviously just finished their live stream for issue 326, A Real American Hero, which we're talking about now. And you can go in, obviously, I'm not going into massive details on it because, again, you can watch Talking Joe's episode where they break that episode down, Mark and Tim. I was watching all the way up until I went live, really enjoying your live there, lads. And yeah, shame I couldn't have been on this one. But then again, like, it's hard getting the availability. I was also doing multiple other things at the same time. But A Real American Hero 326 dropped this week, as well as Transformers issue 30. Which was an interesting one and quite a significant issue for Transformers fans. Not a lot in the way of kind of crossover elements. Like we didn't see any sort of mask, we didn't see any GI Joe or anything like that. It was very much about the Transformers particular situation, but it was a big deal, including, as you can see on the front there, Alita, who got an interesting upgrade. I'm not going to actually go into the details of this one because, again, I'm not sure if there are a lot of Transformers fans on here, but massively significant things happen in this issue. So yeah, go check it out if you are reading the Transformers comics as well. Then obviously you know what I'm talking about. And for those who aren't, I won't spoil it, but I know I do spoilers a lot at this section, but that's usually just for the Joe fans, for the Joe stuff. And I call it out beforehand. Now, the only thing I'm going to talk about, like I said, in 326 for now is just a quick overview, which is that a team are in, I want to say, it's Trucial Bismuth, and it's a mission where they're picking someone, basically they're kidnapping someone effectively and bringing them to justice. But as the mission is assumed to be complete, disaster strikes, and the team get kind of like basically pinned down, and have to basically deal with a bunch of aggressors as they try to get out of the situation. But the coolest thing I thought that came out of the issue was this bio for Downrange, which again, Downrange kicked off their debut, came in 325. So they started their G.I. Joe life in issue 325, the previous issue. And in this particular issue, we get a bio. And I love how they're doing very similar to the old Order of Battle, the old kind of bio pages that you get in Action Force Weekly and what have you. Again, they were pretty much, most of the time they were just taken from the US ones, with obviously the details changed if there was some sort of like UK related differences on the bio. And also we did have our own versions of the bio pages as well. There was a couple of other ones that popped up that again were exclusive to the UK, and the Action Force Weekly, which is pretty cool, and monthly. I think it continued into monthly as well. Now we get the Scout Sniper Downrange. And again, I do like this one. It's really cool. One thing I will say, though, a few people had mentioned this, but her design is very, very similar to Lady J's. And I have to kind of agree with that. I kind of feel like if you're going to do a new character, it's probably best to go as far away from other characters as possible. That said, there can be characters that have similar looks and similar, hairstyles or similar sort of like clothing and gear and what have you. That I totally get that. But I do think that Downrange would have been, I think would have been a really cool one to do as a kind of female sniper with the sort of boonie hat that you see on is it Crossfire? Yeah, it's Crossfire, isn't it? It has that. And kind of wetsuit and muskrat, those kind of like hats, I think would have been a really good one to use for this particular character, just to sort of differentiate her a little bit from the kind of baseball cap Lady J. And the fact that she's also got a very similar face and hair to J makes it kind of very, yeah. And I think just that one change would have been pretty cool. That said, I think this bio is really good. And it was one of those ones where you kind of start reading it and you go, yeah, there's a lot of detail on this one. There's a lot of sort of like, they've gone extra with this one, which I assume Larry's written, right? Because they're his kind of creations. But basically, she was raised by her Finnish Sami grandfather in the forests of northern Minnesota. He had been a hunter and then a sniper in the Finnish army during World War II. Although elderly when young Hilavi, was in his care, he passed on hard-earned skills and lore that she honed as a hunting guide in her early 20s. She used her savings to earn a BS in forestry just when National Park Service jobs were drastically cut, and the vet father of a friend told her about the US Army sniper program. Now, the detail in that makes me think like Larry has probably digged very deep. Not digged very deep, but he's using some real life experience here of someone he knows, friends, or someone like in the family or what have you, because the detail is like very specific. But I quite like this as well. And then the quote is, she was one of the first women to graduate from the sniper training course at the infantry center in Fort Benning. Details of her first deployment are still classified secret. Her spotter during her second deployment noted that Vaisanen exhibited extraordinary skill and patience in setting up her blinds and could wait motionless for as long as 8 hours for a perfect shot. As soon as she joined the G.I. Joe team, Lowlight dubbed her Downrange, and it stuck. I like that as well, the kind of throwing in Lowlight in there as well, throwing in another character who would almost certainly be, working with and alongside her as well. Hilavi S. Vaisanen from Bodette, Minnesota. I love that. Anyway, I love the extra detail. I love the bio. And again, it's really cool to see a new character sort of brought in. And I would say, like I said, if they just changed the hat, I think that would have been enough personally to really differentiate her from Jay. But other than that, like the rest of the design is really cool. The long kind of like, the scarf, I'm going to call it, that's probably an element used for extra camouflage, of course. But no, I really like this particular detail in these bios, and that was the highlight for me. Reading that, I was kind of like, this is great, and I'd love to see Downrange and RC get some kind of like solo mission sort of kind of spotlight as well, just to really get into their characters. Bad Wolf says, only classified as secret. Weak. That's just basic sniper ops. Yes, indeed. Yeah. 40th anniversary Action Marine, says the figure 6-pack. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Couchboy says, I'm late. Are there pre-orders to the 17th or just the 19th? There might be something on the 17th. Nod, nod, wink, wink. We'll have to wait and see. But definitely officially the 19th, yes. But yeah, if I were you, I would keep an eye on the next week. I think we're going to have there's going to be more things, is all I'll say on that one. But yeah, I think this, as a classified figure, we have definitely, I think they've definitely got the parts to make a character like this for sure. Obviously, a new head sculpt would be great and would happen. Of course, it's going to be a if it was a character-based figure, they would have their own individual head sculpt. And I'd like to see, you know, some the female sniper reuse as well, because there's obviously a lot of gear in there and a lot of like parts that you could definitely kind of build on for this particular character. Anyway, yes, that's Downrange. Next, they posted mask bits and pieces, character designs actually, of Tracker and Mayhem. Now, this first issue is on sale in June 2026, but there is a sort of industry kind of copy going around that has been given out at certain events. Right? I forget the name of this. Mark, if you're in the chat at the moment, what's the name of that that type of sort of like publication that they use? It's like a, it basically doesn't have any, it doesn't have any words in it. It's just the basic artwork. It's just the artwork, and it basically shows the first issue of Mask. And people have been kind of getting hold of them, these issues, these kind of like pre-issues, almost like kind of like, it's not the full issue, it's just like a little kind of, not an ash can. Is it? I don't think it's ash can I'm talking about, Comic Book Bin. I think this is a like a proper, it's like something they give out at like the big event, at like the kind of like in industry events. But it might be an ash can. It's just bigger than that. It's like the whole issue, but without the speech bubbles. It's not just like a couple. Oh, it is an ash can. Okay, cool. It's an ash can. An ash can is going around of that first issue. And if you, I'm not going to share the images that we've been sent or anything, because I want to keep that to a, you know, I want that to be more of a surprise for a lot of people. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but yeah, it looks really good, and obviously reveals a few. We had a preview recently, just the kind of first couple of pages, and it shows you what is actually going on and why, you know, Switchblade is doing what it's doing in that particular issue. But it's really cool, and that's doing the rounds for the most part. You may already have seen it, everybody in the chat, but I think this is going to be a pretty solid first issue for Mask, and I can't wait. And also, yeah, like I said, they posted the character designs, an ever so slightly redesigned helmet, which I actually kind of, I like the vibe of it. But in terms of the Spectrum helmet, it's so bloody iconic, isn't it? Like the shape of it, that I am surprised they sort of made so many sort of changes to it. But I think it looks cool. It's definitely more maneuverable than the first one. Viper is pretty much exactly as you'd expect for Miles Mayhem, but they've definitely done made a few little tweaks to Spectrum. And I dig it. I like it a lot. Anyway, really excited for the Mask comic, and yeah, I think having seen most of that first issue, and I did try not to look at it in too much detail, but I saw a few of the pages and I was like, that's really cool. So I'm excited, very excited for that first issue of Mask in June, of course. As well as that, they revealed a special third anniversary or group of covers for the third anniversary of the Energon universe. How are we in the third anniversary of the Energon universe? Or coming up to the third anniversary? How are we how? Can someone explain that to me, please? Obviously, it's because it's been 3 years. I know that. But where's that time gone? I feel like the Energon universe is like 3 issues in, when in reality, we're up to 30 in Transformers, close to that with Void Rivals, like 26, 27. The natural amount of times that 6-7 thing comes up is ridiculous. You know, like G.I. Joe has had, I know we're into like the 20s with G.I. Joe, right? Or soon to be in 20. But all of those pre-issues, like the kind of like mini series, kind of like Cobra Commander, Duke, Scarlet, etc., all of those as well, like, it feels still really new and fresh. It does not feel 3 years old. And in any case, Tom Riley and Adriano Lucas are going to be doing these third anniversary covers that are going to connect to make this beautiful facade. So it's 4 covers, 4 candles, right? Anyone? No? That might have gone over your head. It's not a problem. If you're from the UK, you'll know what that means. 4 handles for forks. Yeah, we've got 4 covers showing of all the characters that have been revealed thus far. And you know what's really interesting about this is I'm still amazed with the Energon universe doing so absolutely incredibly well. There is one missing character that surprises me that we still don't have that character yet, and yet the Energon universe is doing incredibly well. Like it's doing great without this character in it. And I'm just wondering, when this character shows up, is it gonna is this a tactical thing as well? Are they kind of really saving this up for a big reveal? Because obviously we know that the classic GI Joe character that is missing is Snake Eyes, which blows my mind, by the way, that we haven't seen Snake Eyes yet. One, I think we are going to see Snake Eyes, right? 2, I think with issue 21 around the corner, and issue 21 has already been sort of like solicited with the return of Scarlet and Storm Shadow. I wonder if 21, if it's not going to be a silent issue, is it going to be the issue that we finally get the reveal of Snake Eyes in the comics for the Energon universe? I'm putting money on it now because I feel like it works perfectly. The fact that issue is, we've had the preview, sort of like the synopsis and all that kind of stuff come out already, and it's the return of Scarlet and Storm Shadow. That cannot be coincidence for me. I feel like on that last page, it's going to be one of them last page turners, and it's going to be like, hot damn, and explosions left, right, and center. We're going to be going live. Mark and Tim are going to be getting stuck into it on Talking Joe. I don't know. I'm thinking that's what we're going to see. We're going to see Snake Eyes in that. Same Time Toys has thrown in another spanner in the works, saying thoughts on Snake Eyes being a Cobra agent. You never know. You never bloody know. Bad Wolf Media says maybe Snake Eyes has been in the books, but he's disguised as Cobra Commander. Surprise! No, he'll be Zartan, and that'll be the whole thing. It'll be like you thought it was Zartan as Hawk, but no, it's been Snake Eyes as Zartan as Hawk the whole time. Obviously, no, I think Snake Eyes for me has got to be revealed soon. I don't know how you can do a GI Joe without the technically, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, the main character of GI Joe, like the one and only. I mean, they didn't name the entire comic after him for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, we had Snake Eyes in the Ninja Force, didn't we? So I definitely think Snake Eyes is going to have to happen soon. And I think 21 would be a perfect way to do it, especially considering like they've just talked. Or it could also be a bait and switch. They could be doing that, making us think, oh, I bet that people are going to think that 21 is going to be that, and they'll all buy the comic expecting it, and then it won't happen. Then it will just drag this out even further. Maybe they'll think that. I don't know. But we'll have to see, won't we? Snake Eyes was a Cobra agent in IDW, Robert. Yes, for Agent of Cobra is the name of the comic, believe it or not. Snake Eyes, Agent of Cobra, for a short period. Yes. Sartan removes his mask, and it's Snake Eyes' mask. Says Scott. Brilliant. Yeah. Just don't let him talk, says Couchboy. I think if they do let him talk, which is, by the way, if you're reading A Real American Hero, Snake Eyes is back and is talking. Okay, so you know, if they are going to make him talk, it's already happening. Maybe we'll see the origin of his not being able to talk. Just like I sometime at some point, I'm still expecting Mercer to join the Joes and Baroness to join Cobra. I don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe this is going to be one of those things where they get to the end of the run and those things are never ever changed, and the Baroness continues to be a GI Joe the whole time. Mercer continues to be a Cobra operative, but I'm still fully expecting those two things to happen. My expectations in the Skybound universe that I'm just waiting for: Baroness to be a Cobra agent, Mercer to be a Joe agent, and Snake Eyes to just turn the F up. Anyway, that is that beautiful set of covers. They're also doing obviously in just the inks, which again really really cool. But all of these covers do feature the all the characters I believe that have been revealed or that have shown up in the series thus far. Yeah, I don't think there are any missing characters in there. I looked at the Joe ones anyway, and everyone seems to be what they've revealed to this point. The mask operatives are all on there, including the ones we haven't seen yet, but we have seen dropped in preview covers and what have you. So Slyrax, Vanessa, and Blimmin brain fart, Rhino, Driver. Don't know why I'm having a brain fart. I bloody love Mask. I do it every single time. Anyway, there's been a few Mask characters revealed in the preview and covers and what have you, so they're on there as well. Sorry, I can't multitask. Snake Eyes has never excuse me. Snake Eyes has never been mute his whole life. They just didn't really show him talking. Didn't Yeah, he had his vocal cords damaged at one point though, didn't he? So, but he has talked in the Marvel universe as well. They did a red Snake Eyes 12-inch needing classified. Yes, that would be really cool. Anyway, yeah, so that's the covers, the 4 covers from Tom Riley and Adriano Lucas, and there they are split over, you know, those different options and issues and what have you. 3rd anniversary covers coming soon. I just honestly can't believe we're in the 3rd year of the Energon universe. Like, it's like a fully formed thing now. It still feels fairly fresh. And the funny thing is as well, 30 issues being the highest point we're at with Transformers doesn't feel like a lot of issues either. It doesn't feel like a lot of issues, and they have been churning out comics the entire time. It's like there's only been like a few weeks in the entire run so far where we haven't had something that's either been a Real American Hero or Energon universe. There's only been like a few possible moments in the entire run so far in those 3 years, a few weeks where they haven't had something, which is crazy. Night Force are there on the cover, small on the Skyhawk. Yes, they are. Really small on that image, but you can see the Skyhawk in basically in the middle, top in the middle. They're all like basically hanging around on top of the Skyhawk. So yeah. Cool. Now, Silent Missions, Crimson Guard. This is a really cool preview, by the way. Now, last week we looked at the Baroness Silent Missions or Silent Missions, and I believe it was Vienna that she was that her location was in after checking after the fact. And that was like, again, really cool, very very kind of following the sort of movie trope of showing up in like the dress for like one of these kind of like fancy expensive gala type kind of orchestral sort of opera type shows. She's actually holding a instrument case to insinuate that she was part of the band, but obviously snuck in at the front with an instrument case, and then obviously goes for a main objective, which is probably finding either some information or a person or to take somebody out. And basically she goes to that particular location, and the trope is the break-in sort of like to a fancy kind of that kind of thing you see in films all the time. That was really cool. However, checking this Crimson Guard preview out, I don't know. There's something about this that's making me really excited. I think this is going to be an absolute banger of an issue. We get a few pages. So, spoiler alert, if you don't want to see these, obviously you can wait for the actual issue to come out. But we get the first kind of page, which effectively shows Cobra Commander giving these Crimson Guards their helmets, effectively like, I guess like knighting them Crimson Guard, selecting his elite guard effectively here, right? So these two have obviously passed the tests to become Crimson Guards. The next moment on the bottom of this page, you see Cobra Commander react to something, kind of spins round. That in that bottom right hand corner, you can see that like there's something going on, like the building has been hit that they're in. And then you see this beautiful spread of G.I. Joe attacking this mountain compound, which is where Cobra are. And you can just, it's just amazing. You've got Duke on there. In fact, I'll zoom in on some of the images. I have looked at these. I have looked at these close up just to see all of the characters included, and managed to, I think, work out most of them. There's some obviously kind of like distant silhouettes and what have you that obviously you can't really see what they are. But what's really cool is you see the kind of like the big kind of C-130 Hercules kind of vibe flying in there, dropping all of the Joes via parachute. You've got another jet, probably a Sky Striker, kind of zipping past. You've got stealth bombers, X-19s. They're not though, are they? They're actual stealth bombers. Which G.I. Joe has had, but not in like the classic sense. They've had sort of like they have had that sort of stealth bomber, but it's a bit like, it's more of a chibi, smaller kind of version, isn't it? In terms of like the toys, one seater, kind of a much smaller little kind of version. I always forget the name of that one. Obviously, they've done it multiple times as well in like Crimson and other stuff as well, but we haven't really had a classic stealth bomber like that. And like I said, the X-19 was the stealth fighter, the kind of like the curvy round element at the back with the point at the front. Anyway, and then of course, yeah, you've got your Duke there, kind of foreground kind of image. The other characters to the left of him, Gung Ho, Roadblock, and then as you move across, you see sort of like, I think, rock and roll as well. I think the ammo belt might be rock and roll on that one. And then you see what I think is a warthog, because they're coming up on the kind of beach of Cobra Island, basically, aren't they? So they're hitting Cobra Island really hard. And you see it definitely looks like the warthog, because it's got the side entrance that flips up for the troops to jump out of. And then everyone else is sort of like a bit generic, but I do see, I think, Blowtorch, Recondo, and yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it that I could kind of identify. The rest are all a bit generic. And then you also see on this double page spread that one of those stealth bombers releasing a pretty, hefty bit of ordnance, which does the most damage here to the compound that the Cobra Commander and the Crimson Guards are in. And it basically just puts a hole in the roof, and then everyone's just like literally covered in rocks at this point. And then you see, like, on the next page, this hand emerge, and this Crimson Guard kind of like drag himself out, damaged helmet, so you can see his eye, and he sees another Crimson Guard and Cobra Commander running out of the room. So he's basically gets up to sort of like follow, and as he goes around the corner, Cobra Commander is shooting the Crimson Guard in the back, or in the face. It's hard to tell really from this particular angle. But yeah, it looks as though Cobra Commander is just taking him out. I don't know why at this stage. It could be multiple reasons. It could be due to the fact that there's some sort of like escape option that is only a one-person kind of escape option, and he's just making sure that it's him that's going to get in there. Or I actually genuinely don't know, but that could obviously be made very clear with the next panel, of course, in the actual comic itself. but in any case, seeing these few pages gets me really excited to see what they're going to actually do, and also gives us an opportunity to see things that we don't usually see in GI Joe. Things like the Warthog, which we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen the Warthog in the comics for the longest time. There's a very underutilized vehicle, and I know that the Sarge is probably a big factor in that, but I still think you can have a Warthog, as like, yeah, like they're using here. I love the fact they're using them as also as like troop, amphibious troop transports, which is what they are. But yeah. Anyway, oh, good. I'm getting some extra info, which I always appreciate from you guys. B2 Spirit up there taking care of business, says Bad Wolf. The Joes have the X19. Yes, that's what I was saying, wasn't it? Figure 6-pack says F117. Thank you. I hope the Energon universe stops adding other IPs for a while and starts to focus more on moving the stories forward at a better pace. Transformers, Joes, Void Rivals, and Mask are plenty, says X Factors. Yeah, and I don't think there's been a great deal of mix and match. Like Transformers and Joe have sort of had a very kind of like, actually, G.I. Joe's had a lot of standalone storytelling in the issues, and so has Transformers, to be fair, and even Void Rivals, now that I think about it. Obviously, Python is a bit of an intertwined sort of thing going on, but it's not to the point where it's minimizing any story being told. Void Rivals, a lot of lore has been dropped, I think, in that time period. And I think they've balanced it really well. Like, again, my personal opinion, I think Skybound have balanced these kind of crossovers. And again, this is a Real American Hero we're talking about on the screen currently. But in terms of Energon universe, which is the question or the conversation, yeah, I think they've balanced it superbly well. But yeah, coming back to Silent Missions here, though. Bad Wolf says X19 was based on the Aurora renderings, but I don't think the Joes have ever had a bomber. Yeah, it like the one that came out, it was like later in it. It's like in the new sculpt era, I think. Not in the vintage era. So it's a new sculpt era vehicle, and it's effectively like a chibi triangular stealth style kind of vehicle. But it's like they've really kind of like chibied it up to make it like cutesy, which is kind of weird to me. It's probably Sparks, since Breaker was a casualty, says Figure 6-pack. Oh, in the image. Badwell says, see, I told you Snake Eyes was disguised as Cobra Commander. There you go. Could that Crimson Guard become the 1990 Cobra Overlord? Possibly. That's not a bad shout. Anyway, yeah, so a Real American Hero, Silent Missions, Crimson Guard, issue 1, I guess, because it's a standalone situation. Now, writer and artist Gabriel Hardman, however you want to say that. Colors Matt Hollingsworth. Superstar creators, but yeah, I don't know. The face of yeah, actually, it's the same every single time. There's no extra information in regards to synopsis for the Silent Missions, unfortunately. But we do get all the covers as well, and I think for me, some nice covers here. The Jorge Fornes one is pretty cool, where it's sitting there kind of like firing the machine gun. And of course, 2 of those are Jorge Fornes, with obviously B and D, where you've got the letter as well. But my favorite cover is the Gabriel Hardman one, which is just gorgeous. And it's obviously showing the Crimson Guard protecting Cobra Commander with a bunch of Joes sort of surrounding them, with that rock behind them. And then obviously there's 2 versions of that. There's the full color one, both by Gabriel Hardman. He's done all the art, including the color, and cover C, which is just the inks as well. But that is the previews for the preview for Silent Missions, Crimson Guard. Cannot wait for that. Excited as always. And yeah, more the merrier for me in terms of comics. I love a Real American Hero. I absolutely adore the Energon universe. I'm here for all of it. And yeah, let's keep it going. More obviously next week in comics chat, of course. And I'll do it in the shout outs, but also check out my Talking Force crossover episode I did with Mark very recently. Again, I'll talk about that in the shout outs. Let's move on then to our coming out of the comics news and into other miscellaneous And we'll start with Heroscape, more Heroscape posts, because of course we have Jinx and Kamakura's bios and art posted. Now they come as a twosome, Kitty said, and they are on here. So we've got the artwork, and also the bio that comes with it is on the link on the social post by Renegade Game Studios, which you can find on our socials as well because we reshared them. But yeah, you can go check out Jinx and Kamakura right now. Again, this is a bit of a speed round with Renegade Game Studios because there's not a great deal to get into. But I will say, in terms of the designs, they've gone with Jinx from her sort of like new sculpt era period, and of course Kamakura has only really had that sort of time period, other than, of course, his very recent classified reveal. No, very old classified figure now. But yeah, before that, Kamakura was few and far between in the versions. So obviously they're going for that more kind of classic Kamakura styling as well, which is interesting because a lot of their character artwork has been based on classified, either early versions of classified or just classified in general. So it's kind of interesting that, yeah, we get these. Well, Renegade Game Studios have done this. They're taking from the broad range of like available designs for these characters, and Jinx has already been in Renegade Game Studios in miniature form, as well as Kamakura, I believe, actually. But Jinx has had a minifigure, and they utilized that kind of very classic, not very classic Jinx, the very new sculpt era design Jinx with the blindfold and all that kind of jazz. So it's not a surprise they've used that similar sort of design for her on this artwork. But anyway, Heroscape, G.I. Joe, Strike Force, Forces Army Expansion, art and bio, you can check on their page, of course. And they also have, well, Risk has already shipped, which is brilliant. But Heroscape will be going up for Kickstarter, going up on Kickstarter very soon. I want to say the 16th of March. Is that right? I'm asking you guys like I should be telling you, but I can't remember the exact date that it goes up. It is soon. It's March 16th, I want to say. It was posted on the last on the Storm Shadow artwork that they revealed a little while ago. Let me just double check before I move on to get it correct. Man, that was a long time ago. March 16th. I was right. I remembered the date. So yeah, the Kickstarter kicks off on the 16th, which is in just 2 Earth days, guys. Monday that kicks off for Heroscape. So I don't think we're going to get any more art bio drops at this point until, obviously, they might do them during the campaign as well, but I think this is pretty much everything so far. I can't think of anything else, any other characters that we've seen to this point. But there you go. That's Renegade Game Studios, Heroscape, March 16th Kickstarter, aka Monday. Sweet. Right then, next we have more miscellaneous news, I think. Or is it? I think we're straight into classified stuff, actually. Let's get it. Yeah, so first of all, not jealous in any way, shape, or form. But Shark-Eyed Toy View, Adam, has got the Special Forces figure in hand and has done a review of said figure as well on his YouTube channel, which you can check out now. And he sent, obviously, some pictures along as well of these, and he posted these as well, of course, when he did the actual review. We can see this gorgeous figure in all his glory. Apparently, this one is an April scenario, right? I have a feeling this is an April scenario. It's already got like listings in certain situations on Amazon in Canada. There is an Amazon listing for it as well, but it's not available yet. But the listing exists, and you can find that on our socials under a post a while back. Go to our Facebook page and just keep scrolling for Special Forces because you'll see it. And obviously it has those Amazon links for Canada and for other areas in the globe. So that, and it looks like it's going to be an April release everywhere else, but I believe you can actually order it on Canada's Amazon right this second if you really want to get in there. It's a really good looking figure. Lots of different options you can go with. Obviously, this particular style with that sort of like painted skeletal face scenario and bazooka there as well. You have this kind of option with the sort of like camo on the face and the helmet, and you can obviously mix and match all the helmets as well. It's not like this is the only head this works with. Obviously not. And then of course you've got the beret vibes too, which I think is going to make for some cool Skip customs, Skip and any other Action Force Palatoy era character with that beret. Yes, Couch Boy, April, which is very not too far away. Yeah, at all. And then of course we have the close-ups of the heads. This is the camo version. I like this one with the very kind of like commando style, like that. And of course this alternate as well with the that kind of like skull face design on it. Very cool indeed. In fact, do you know what? Like you could paint the green part red, and you've sort of got some sort of like, you know, character from like a new Red Shadows character. Do you know what I mean? So who's 17th, lol? We'll have to wait and see, buddy. I'll have to wait and see. Or maybe next week, this coming week. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. But it's stuff it's obviously going to be one of the many things we've already seen at Toy Fair. You know, like your Zanyas and your Prof Rock Claws and your so on and so forths, right? Just keep an eye out this week is all I'll say on that one. I'm sure there'll be official posts and what have you soon is all I'll say on that one. But yeah, he looks great, doesn't he? Looks really cool. So again, I'm not jealous in any way, shape, or form, Adam, that you have this figure. I don't hate you at all. I'm just kidding, mate. Yeah, shout out to Adam, Shark-Eyed Toy View. Go check his channel out as well. Not that you need me to, I'm sure you probably do anyway. I'm sure you do anyway. Right then, next up, we have more classified related news. I've broken it up a little bit. But before we get into that, let's have a message from our sponsor. Make sure you order your amazing Battle Action Force Deluxe Treasury Editions today. Total, toybooks.com in the UK and Europe, Skeletron.com in the US, and Amazon everywhere else. Links in the description area underneath this vids right now. Classified Ramp Rats, guys. This was fun. Even though it was a leak and not officially revealed yet, it's nice to actually get all of the very high quality images rather than and let's not beat around the bush. That first image that came out, shout out to Bees Battlegrounds, by the way, for kind of sharing it was kind of like an image that was on like a pre-sales kind of like thing, wasn't it, that from the Far East, but basically it was the most blurry crushed image ever, but at least the rest of the images followed suit pretty quickly afterwards. And yeah, we got some absolute bangers here. But the Ramp Rats started life, if you recall, way back in the heady HasLab Sky Striker days of 20, whatever the hell that was. Was it 20 or 21? I can't remember. I always forget, and it's not that big a deal. In any case, the Ramp Rats were figures that were created for this particular I suppose like spin-off element of the campaign, where Cobra took over the stream and you could get Cobra livery for your Sky Striker, but also the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander, Cobra Trooper, and kind of like Sunbow, or just, I'd guess, and the Ramp Rat, which was a really cool figure, and we did actually get these. These were unlocked as a tier, which was nice. And I will add that I really enjoyed for the Ramp Rat the neon green wands they came with. Now, as well as that, in the HasLab Sky Striker sort of campaign, we didn't get the ketchup and mustard tier, which was a little bit too far away from the final total they managed to actually get. But the kind of like ground crew for the Sky Striker, this dude in yellow and a dude in red, affectionately called Ketchup and Mustard, and that sort of idea was kind of continued with the Ramp Rats into this classified offering. Now, obviously, this is not your Ketchup and Mustard GI Joe figures at all. This is Ramp Rats, which we already know exist, and this is a kind of play on that particular figure. And obviously, doing one yellow and one red makes a lot of sense because you're, creating like this ground crew with different specialties or what have you, and it also diversifies the display options and all that kind of stuff as well. So you get like, it's more interesting. Dijon and Tabasco, says Carlos. I love that. Will they make Slipstream with that helmet? Asks Figure Six Pack. Do you know what? That's a really good shout. I didn't notice that at first, but these are new helmets, aren't they? So it could be a pre sort of like Slipstream situation, and we end up with an X30 Conquest or something, next year or whatever. Because this year it's got to be Cobra, right? Because we've had, Snowcat this year. Next year is this year will be Cobra, and then next year will be Joe again. So I don't know. Who knows? I don't think the Ramp Rats know Couch Boy, but again, like I said, stuff we've seen at Toy Fair. I think I've already mentioned them out loud as well. I've already mentioned the ones that we'll probably see out loud. Last Joe looks like Pixar Coco with Scooby Duke. I'd say someone is watching cartoons at Pulse. Okay. Sky Striker was 21. Thank you, Scott. 2021 makes sense because it was like, that first year was all about like classified and the sort of O-ring return, and did they do the O-ring return in 2020? Am I misremembering that? Was the O-ring return of O-ring in 21, or was that in 2020? Did the Sky Striker sort of bring it back in sort of vintage collection style? I just genuinely can't remember. Cobra version of Ketchup and Mustard, AKA. I'm not saying that, Mark. That's hideous. But yes. Okay, blood and urine, I'll say. That's so gross. They could both be urine, technically. Both probably require either more hydration or to see a doctor, or both. O-ring was 2020, says Joe. Okay, cool. So they had brought the O-ring back before the Sky Striker was out. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, neat. So anyway, this is the loadout, and it also comes with a giant, massive crate, which I have been studying, and looks to have two different sections that detach from it, and also there seems to be kind of pivots and hinges on the sides of this bad boy. So I think there's a lot more to this than meets the promo images that we've seen. And also I love how we were so confused about the straps, and I haven't had any sort of like confirmation on anything yet because it's not official yet, and there can't be any official talk on this until there is an official reveal of this. So I think when this is officially out there and is discussed and shown off and talked about by the team, then we'll get a bit more information on how this is supposed to work. But as far as the kind of like strap goes, the promo images are just not making any sense to me, and I don't think making much sense to a lot of people in here as well. But yeah, some great shots here of the figures. Here is one with a random saw that comes with the saw viper, and the wands, which are actually in kind of like an orangey red color instead of the neon kind of greeny color that the original Ramp Rat came with, which I think is a little bit of a shame because I really like that neon color. I think it works really well. I don't know how much this, I don't know, maybe there's a reason for it, and that's totally cool if there is. I just haven't done the research to figure out what that might be. Packaging's gorgeous, very much in line with what we've seen with the Rattler, the Rattler box, and all that kind of good stuff. So this is obviously in relation to the Cobra Rattler, in the same way that we get 788 Fireteam stuff with the Hiss tank, and very little with the Dragonfly. At the moment, the Dragonfly isn't. It's really just airborne, technically, that they've discussed as being a sort of accompanying figure to the set. Not really accompanying, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, they talked about airborne within the same breath as the Dragonfly, as opposed to having like any Dragonfly specific troops to kind of go with it. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see some ground crew for the Joes. And then tie it in with the Dragonfly if you have to, if you're not going to do a Sky Striker or what have you. But there you go. Box number's difficult here because this is the only image that's really got it clear. And it looks like maybe 205, but I don't know. Again, this will probably be made clear when an official reveal comes out. So at the moment, we're not 100% sure on it. But I'm thinking maybe 205 for the actual number. It doesn't actually have it on the back here either because of this kind of design of how it's laid out. But it shows there one disconnection element of the box, which is the bottom piece. And at the top, though, that does actually, it hinges at least as a lid. So, and I imagine probably comes off as well. The Arctic 3-pack ties in with the Snowcat packaging. Yeah, I agree with that, Scott. I imagine it will. Because that is very specifically for the Snowcat, I think, isn't it? Or for the Arctic Hiss, I should say. Maybe the Snowcat, the Arctic Hiss, and the Arctic 3-pack will all make a lot of sense together in terms of packaging. But yeah, that is the back of the box, showing you the accessories that it comes with. One thing I am a bit confused at is why they went with, and this is probably more down to the fact that it was just like, oh, we'll put those in because it's available logistically. But the Saw Viper weapons, I'm not quite sure about. I do think that they would have been better served to have tools. And obviously we've got like wrenches, or spanners, we've got hammers of all different shapes and sizes, crowbars or Halligan tools, lots of like stuff with the firefighter that could have been reused. I think that would have been a little bit better. And even like a little with the Ore Striker, the little sort of toolbox as well. I think all of that would make a lot more sense with Ramp Rats personally. But, I guess this is the thing as well with these ground crew needing to protect the ground every now and again from attacks with a really heavy Saw Viper weapon. I don't know. Something isn't quite making sense with me there. But the promo images look amazing. And even the ones where they're using the Saw Viper weapons, kind of look good. So it's all cool. Anyway, what we see here are two crates stacked on top of each other in both shots, with, I believe, the one on the left being stacked differently than the other one, I think. Right? Maybe not. Yeah, the lid's missing on the bottom one on the left. So the lid's been taken off of the one on the left to kind of stack the other one on top. Whereas the one on the right, that lid is still on that first crate on the ground there, and it's just resting on top of the other one. So there you go. The crate is part 1 of the Build a Terradrome, says Bri. Could you imagine, Bri? Thank you for the super chat, bud. Really appreciate it, as always. But yeah, could you imagine if it was part 1 of the Build a Terradrome? Like, how many parts would you need if that was the case? I don't think anyone understands the Saw Viper weapon, says Jamie Lynn. I agree on that one, totally. Bri, thank you so much, bud. Appreciate you. A lot of people seem confused by the machine guns and such, but regardless of your day job in the military, everyone is infantry first. I imagine it's the same in Cobra. Oh, totally, Bad Wolf, totally. You can explain away anything. I just think it doesn't feel right to me. It feels like these would have been better served with loads and loads of what we already have, but like loads of tools and stuff like that. Because like opening crates and fixing stuff and maintaining stuff and just generally needing that kind of stuff more than a giant machine gun, which just get some saw vipers in the hangar to protect the place. We need the asp for ground defense, says Joe. Yes, that'd be really cool. I can see the asp has been one that a lot of people have been wanting in the classified series, but I think it's always one of those ones where you might have seen it if the MMS had done better. And I'm not saying that is the be all and end all of them ever doing towables again, but I think if that had done really well, I think an asp might have followed pretty soon afterwards. But again, I think there might be that thing of, is it worth doing? But I like it, and I think it, again, not only is it a cool little, they could make it really cool with lots of different features and what have you, spinning, opening, upright, down, guns up all over the place, make it, update it a little bit, have some really cool elements to it, maybe even give it some glass for protection, like some bulletproof glass. That would be kind of cool. And also make it towable, and as well as that, throw a figure in with it, so you end up with like a different ground crew kind of guy or something, like that would be kind of dope, actually. They could definitely do it and make it really cool, but they've got to kind of weigh up, will it sell as well, I think. Bad Wolf says, I was in a communications unit in the army, definitely not frontline, but I still had to qualify every year, and we had a machine gunner in my platoon. She was 4'10", surfer girl from California. That's amazing. Couchboy says, Cobra Posse Part 1, Terradrome needs a Terradrome to number 2. Could you imagine? I'm naming mine Kenny and Loggins, says Stanley. I like that. I like it a lot. I would welcome tools and stuff too, no doubt, but the heavy kit doesn't bother me either. Yeah, I just think I like stuff where if you're getting a crate, I want to be able to fill it with stuff that comes with the figure as well. Sort of, I think it's that carryover from the weapons crate from the original line. One of my favorite things is that weapons crate, by the way. Just a very simple design, pinch to kind of like retreat to take the lid off. Those two little side clips basically with the rope. But it was just so beautifully detailed, and you'd open it and you put all the gear in. Annoyingly, not all of it fit in. They had those long missiles which didn't fit inside, but everything else went in there, and I really enjoyed like putting weapons and accessories in that crate. I thought it was so much fun, and it was one of my favorite things in GI Joe. Crazy, really, out of all the stuff in GI Joe, but those kind of things really, I just have a nice vibe to them, a really good diorama building option as well. I think we need something like that for Joe, and we are getting it now with like your modular fortifications, with your defense posts, with your bivouacs and what have you. But and the crates now, I just want more of it. These images are beautiful, by the way. I really like them. Now, I was schooled the other day because I wasn't aware, but the Rattler, I've only ever had the wings up or down. I didn't realize they could go up and then back as well. So that's really cool. In which case, I could forgive them for clearly not fitting into this hangar the way it was. So yeah, thank you for schooling me on that one. I have a Rattler. It's right in front of me, right there. I can see it. Never done that with the wings yet, so didn't know that was a possibility. But all good. So it can cannon fit in that hangar, even though that hangar is a little bit small. But again, love these diorama pictures so much. They always sell the figures like to the nth degree. And again, like the little crate showing all the weapons inside, And again, we have lots of weapons. It's not like I'm going to be shy of stuff to put in the crates. That's for damn sure. But I still think a little toolbox would have been freaking awesome for these guys. Would have been so good. Again, some great shots here. I don't know what they're doing with the straps. That's definitely something that I just need confirmation on. How are we using these straps, guys? What's the idea behind them? And again, that's only going to come out in a proper official reveal and chat and everything like that. These are crates of toilet paper to go with the Cobra Porta Potty, says Carlos. Amazing. Hooded Coco is hiding in the crate like Taylor Swift, says Couch Boy. Spoilers. Oh, Josh B. Google AI gives a description of the crate and other things. Does it now? That's interesting. I want a Cobra Adder, says Comic Book Bin. Actually, that would be pretty dope. Cobra Adder is pretty dope. Again, like for this sort of ground crew sort of thing as well, it would work really well with that because of the way that the Cobra Adders are. They're very kind of simple kind of things, but you could definitely like, classify them up a little bit. Anyway, if you have to ask how to use the straps, you're not ready for the straps. Okay, thank you, Scott. If you don't know, you can't afford it. Brilliant. Starfighter says, add skis to the crate, add a color-changing Zartan, and many would be happy. Stanley says, less weapons, more tools. My rats will only carry pistols. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have mine with the Saw Viper gear, personally. They're going to be on the ground. They're going to be around the Rattler. And the crates are going to be all over the place as well. It's going to be wicked. Love it. Anyway, these shots definitely give me inspiration for what I want to do with a Rattler, Kitty said. And here we are, one more shot there with them firing, or not firing, but about to give it the big one. Right, that's it for the Ramp Rats. Very excited for these. More information to come on these, of course. More official information to come, but these are the we'll get to the leak listings shortly, so I'll talk about that then, but we know what they are. And moving on, let's talk quickly about some pre-orders that dropped, preview for pre-orders that dropped this week, for a pre-order dropping on the 19th. Right then, just before we get into that, thank you, Joe Bits Toys, for the super chat. Again, always appreciate the super chats. He says the straps are supposed to connect to the Rattler ? I thought that initially. I thought it was like one of those things where you connected like the one strap to the Rattler and then the other two connected to the crate, and then it sort of like hangs from the bottom. But you'd sort of really ideally want 3 straps attaching to whatever you're carrying. So 4 more likely, but 3 minimum, so it wasn't like spinning around or getting all weird messed up or what have you. But I don't know if that's practical. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you for the super chat, very much appreciated. Now, CollectorCon, Walmart CollectorCon preview, posted the official reveal of USA Duke, not the leaked one, which we knew about was happening for a while, obviously because of the leak, and of course the Night Creeper as well, preview listing. So they are both up on Walmart listings on our socials, of course. If you go to our Instagram page, I think both individual listings are on our link in bio situation there if you're struggling to find these. But yeah, Duke, USA Duke and Night Creeper are going to be the Walmart CollectorCon figures for G.I. Joe this time around, starting with the Night Creeper, of course. We've already seen these beautiful images multiple times. That's probably the 3rd time I've gone through them, so I'm not going to stay long on this. I'm just going to say that I'm very excited for this figure. I think this is going to do really well. I love this version of the Night Creeper. I love Night Creepers in general, and I think the option, the kind of inspirations that they've done on here to kind of like, like the build they've used in terms of the Cobra Commander's arms make a lot of sense for the whole, design, alongside the Diatech. I love the fact the weapons have all got that kind of green Diatech blade sort of element. Even the visor on the Night Creeper head has got that very ever so slight tint of green in it as well, which isn't very easy to see in certain shots, but it is there. How am I supposed to display it, though? I'm not suspending my Rattler onto my ceiling. Maybe I'm going about this all wrong. Effectively, Joe Bits Toys, I think with the crates, if you're not going to, I don't think it's for that. I don't think it's actually for that. I think it's just literally crates for the, just for like the diorama aspect of it. I don't think the straps are specifically there for that particular hanging it from a Rattler. We'll have to see, though, won't we? but yeah, love these absolutely wonderful images of the Night Creeper as well. And the other thing I will say on this one is that the post for this Night Creeper came with blurb, Kitty said, which I read out on the last news burst, but it's really cool to get a little bit more information on the Night Creepers. Now, the one thing that it said that I was really interested in actually was the kind of information regarding the use of Diatech. Now, these are this is copy and story that's written by Mark Beasley of Hasbro, and we are going to be interviewing him soon, which is going to be awesome. Can't wait to do that. We're getting it sorted. Don't you worry. Now, he'll probably be able to talk to this to a much deeper level and kind of go into more details in regards to narratives and what have you. But it says the following. Although I thought it said the following. Where am I? Yeah. Oh, where is it got the the bio information? Was it on the actual post? I can't see it now. See, I did have on the link, I thought it had it in the bio on the Walmart link, but basically it says that because they've got like elements of mysticism about them and all this kind of stuff. Oh, I know what it was. It was in an email. That's where it was. Sorry, I've remembered now. Bear with me 2 seconds while I grab it. Shouldn't take me too long. No, he says. There it is. There it is. Right. Now it says for the blurb for the Night Creeper, which is the following. The brave members. Where is it? New to the G.I. Joe Classified Series line, Night Creeper Diatech. Now, because of the Night Creeper's Zen-like discipline and Cobra's own delvings into areas of arcane mysticism, these adherents are particularly well suited to manipulate dire, dread-inducing responsive energy tech manifestations, giving them the ability to emanate both mental and physical projections without an accompanying containment pack. So it was to kind of explain why and how they could, manipulate dire if they didn't have the Ghost Vipers sort of like Ghostbusters proton packs. I'm only joking, but you know what I mean. Which is really cool. And again, more information, more depth is always welcome with these things. And like I said, we'll be talking with the awesome Mark Beasley about this as well very soon. And narratives in general, actually. Cannot wait for this one. The Diatech Night Creeper goes up at the same time as Duke, of course, March 19th, 10 a.m. Eastern on the Walmart website, and small quantities, limited quantities on Hasbro Pulse at the same time. And I would expect that to also be premium related as well. Just, putting it out there, 10 a.m. Eastern, you have been warned. Now, we also get Duke, USA 250. And in the week, we were given more actual official promo images as well. Not that the promo images are as depthy and interesting and cool as the other kind of mainline figures. They're usually just black backgrounds, some explosion every now and again. But yeah, with Duke, that's what we got here. We got a look at the front and back of the card, though. Not that the back of the card is it just doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry, guys. If you're going to do a retro inspired card back, do it like Super 7 do it. They do a proper cross sell on there. They do a file card that is just the one sort of file card. That's what I would love, obviously, them to be able to do that. But again, this line obviously stretches worldwide and has to have multiple languages on it. But that said, I don't necessarily really care for the card back, which is a shame because, you've got the card art, which again, hit and miss. Let's be fair. But the card back itself, forget about it. Forget about it. Thankfully, I'm all about the figures for the most part. But here we are with the loadout for this particular figure: 2 rifles, helmet, pistol, knife, binoculars, backpack, fists, and figure stand in white. And of course, Duke in his redecoed look. Some people were saying that the head sculpt could be different based on 2 images of the side by side of this figure and the retro Duke, but I think it's just a different face print. I don't think it's a different head sculpt. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's different in that sense. I think it might have a different face print on it, but in terms of, you know, like a bit more detailed one, I don't know. But I don't think they're different head sculpts, to be fair. I'll confirm that information for sure. Here he is on an explosion background, showing his gear off. Here he is jumping around with dangerously with weapons in hand. Here he is brandishing those weapons like it's 4th of July and celebrating that fact. A bit of a knife. The knife is a bit scary there as well, isn't it? Gun up in the air with the knife. Very like I'm going to stab you kind of vibes. And then we have this shot of him changing the magazine on his knees, or one knee, and here looking through. Well, he's just either about to look through these binoculars, or he's just seen something through the binoculars and he's bringing them down. The narrative is up to you in those scenarios. How does this Duke not come with a flag? I don't know, Bri. I don't know. Here he is celebrating for the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. And there he is, all fisted up, all angry and tense, ready to punch someone in the face. Probably Clutch for not telling him that Hound was a Transformer. Not telling him that the Jeep he was driving around in was actually a Transformer. Right. And there's another shot of the back of the figure. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty much it. Is it buzzing my berries? It's just a redeco Duke at the end of the day. It's not that crazy, you know. It is what it is. This, to me, like I said it in the past, this feels very Walmart directed, where they've got like a bunch of different companies to do redecos or figures of, you know, I think most of them are redecos, with the exception of Lady J and Chuckles, right? No, Chuckles isn't in it. Lady J, Snake Eyes, Duke, and who's the other one in that group? I've completely forgotten the fourth figure in that group. Snake Eyes, Duke, Lady J, and can't remember. In any case, those 4 figures that I'm blanking on completely, they will also be available for Walmart, but I don't know if they're going to be on this particular Collecticon. Although they have said on Collecticon there's more reveals to come, so maybe the Super 7 ones just haven't been revealed yet, because they're not on the site yet, as far as I'm aware. I checked. Oh, Falcon's the other one. Thank you, Robert. The one figure they actually teased initially with the artwork, and I completely forgot it. Anyway, yeah. So I think, like I said, I think this is a very much a Walmart directed scenario. This is another shot that we got in the materials, which I haven't seen elsewhere, which I think is kind of cool. And yeah, I do like this. I do like this shot of him in front of the file card, even though that file card is gross and massive, and doesn't have much information on it. It's cool that, you know, it's a cool shot. I like it. So he drops on March 19th, 10 a.m. Eastern, same as the Night Creeper, of course. Now we're on to leak listings, and we'll rinse through this. So no changes other than, obviously, Anniversary Duke got moved up, but I did that ages ago. There's no changes necessarily on here. Ramp Rats have been included on there now. They are the Tara listing that hit port recently as well. And just an extra bit of information, which I did talk about 2 news bursts ago, that is that her Aigu, one of those listings on the right hand side under the exclusive segments, I think actually it's Igu, isn't it? It's Igu. I went through this with someone in the comments the other day. My problem. Sorry, my mistake. But yeah, her Igu is also at port. That listing is unknown at the moment, but I have a feeling if it's one of those ones that's nearby and soon, it'll probably be leaked like within an inch of its life. So we'll wait to obviously see that particular leak before we can unlock the listing. But that has also hit port this week, as did Zanya for like the 7th time, I want to say. There's been a lot of port arrivals for Zanya with the Chameleon. And the other one is a retro assortment, which we are assuming is female Crimson Guard, Crazy Legs, and Zap, but could also be that next wave that hasn't been revealed yet, but obviously the Wild Bill has leaked from it, of those 3 figures, but we don't know. So I imagine it's female Crimson Guard, Crazy Legs, and Zap, but we don't have anyone. We just haven't been able to cross-reference the number, unfortunately. So there you go. That is the leak listings and sort of like recent port arrivals news. Name only reveals currently officially are Iceberg, Deep Six, and Chabang. I expect to see these probably Yojo June time in terms of renders and what have you. Is it possible for you to post a high-res leaked listing for us, please? Asks Stan. I should do that, shouldn't I? I will do that, Stan. Sorry, yeah, because it's not very comfortable to read, especially if you screenshot that. I agree with you. I will do so. And then, of course, digital renders and revealed figures. I've added Duke to this group now, so it's going to bump Snake Eyes up a little bit. But yeah, that's been updated. Again, next week by the 19th, Duke and the Night Creeper won't be on there, and a couple others might not be on there either by the end of next week. Hint, hint. But yeah, you should be finding out soon about more pre-orders. But I can't say the details. And then finally, teasers and leaks. We've got Retro Wild Bill on the left there. We've got Deep Six in the background of the Hydro Viper promo images, and we've got the classified Ramp Rats, which we've seen everything revealed from them, but it'd be nice to get some context and some talk about those particular figures soon as well. Steps Toy says, have mercy on those of us who are getting old and have to set their browser text to 110%, Chris. Sorry, Steps Toys. I should be, I'm with you on that as well, aren't I, basically? Right then. Is that it? That's it. That's everything. Right. Let's move on to shout outs and bring this to a close. Right then, massive shout out as always to Battle Action Force, the Deluxe Treasure Editions, our sponsor of the show, of course. We did hear from them earlier in the episode, obviously with the commercial, but make sure you get these beautiful editions courtesy of Total Toy Books, Rebellion, and Skeletron, and of course totaltoybooks.com in the UK and Europe if you want to get them, skeletron.com in the US, and of course Amazon everywhere else. As well as Battle Action Force, the Deluxe Treasure Editions, Total Toy Books has been busy, including a current running Kickstarter for My Palatoy Story, which is 72% complete now, I think. Get in there. Still a decent amount of time to go, but let's get this done and dusted and covered in mustard, please. And thank you, everybody. This is the extended edition of My Palatoy Story, a brilliant book by Bob Breakin, of course, the godfather of the Palatoy era. And Brian Hickey, who's done obviously the wonderful design and everything else to go along with it. And in as well as obviously what we've been showing off for the last few weeks and this particular beautiful book, this post was made the other in the week as well, and it's to the women of the Palatoy factory. This story belongs to you. They say Palatoy wasn't just a factory, it was a family. Whether you were on the assembly line for Tiny Tears or helping to get Action Man ready for the toy shelves, you were part of something world-class right here in Colville. The camaraderie on that factory floor was legendary, which made it all the harder when the doors finally closed. But while the factory is gone, the legacy of what you built remains. My Palatoy Story is a definitive history of the company from 1919 to the very, that's 19, my goodness, to the very end. It is written by Bob Breakin, who was a member of the Palatoy team for 18 years. Bob was there through the 60s and 70s, and like so many, his time ended with redundancy in 1984. Because it is written by an insider, this book captures the true spirit of the company and the toys that put Colville on the map. It is a deep dive into the history, the products, and the memories that defined an era. If you worked there or a member of your family did, this 60th anniversary edition is a way to hold that history in your hands again. So again, link in the description if you want to jump on this, as well as these beautiful, this wonderful image of the Star Wars figures, the AT-AT and the Hoth Speeder and the Millennium Falcon. You've got all these cracking shots as well in the factory, which is so cool. Again, to the women of the factory as well, that Bob is shouting out with these images. Here's a shot of the factory floor. Again, fascinating stuff, and amazing that we've got these images from back in the day still. And of course, there you go, My Palatoy Story, Bob Breakin, designed by Brian Hickey. Go check it out. Kickstarter right this second. The link in the description. Let's get it funded. Bri, thank you so much for the super chat. Shout out to Kroger. I found the Hot Wheels Hiss and Airwolf today. Congratulations. Not only that, I've heard that people are finding Hot Wheels Hiss tanks at O'Reilly Auto Parts, by the way. So if you're near one of them, go check it out, because you might find a Hot Wheels Hiss if you're lucky. Thank you, Bri, for the super chat, mate. Always appreciated. Hello, Tony's Figs. What up, mate? How you doing? Anyway, amazing stuff. Shout out to Bob and, of course, to Brian. Sorry, I should also state I'll be talking to Bob and Brian next week. We'll be doing an episode recording about the My Palatoy Story. So we'll be chatting with those two lovely gentlemen, and that will be going out next week as well. So there you go. Just keeping you up to date. Massive shout out to Pat and Phil, Articulated Points, of course. Go check out their wonderful channel as well. Latest episode on Street Fighter is a banger, including a cool little reveal as well in there too. If you like your unreleased stuff, you'll love Articulated Points. Yeah, lovely stuff. Also, codenameiowa.com. Shout out to the wonderful Brian Sauer and everyone at Codename Iowa. Go check them out for all their wonderful merch, and also for Assembly Required, which has already begun the sneaky sort of intel gathering of what the next show is going to be about. Space, clearly. 13th and 14th of November 2026 at Des Moines, Iowa. More information to follow, of course, in regards to that. Keep it locked on both their socials and ours for all the information, of course, for that. Like I said, November 13th and 14th, space related. Can't wait. Cannot wait. And also to Skeletron.com, RoboSkull Mark IIs available again on their site, so you can get those. Vehicle of the Year 2024, Toy of the Year 2024, in my opinion. Absolute banger. And they have also got Yetis and Zargonauts on their website. So get on Skeletron.com, get yourself a Yeti O-ring carded, get yourself a Zargonaut O-ring carded, which also converts to Zarlord as well. A nice little homage to, of course, Captain Zargon from the Action Man range many moons ago. And of course, the Yeti figure, which commemorates the wonderful Aaron Dietrich, who has since passed, of course. Always remembered, brother, and love to the family, and always to you, my man. There you go. And finally, I wanted to shout out the awesome Paul Panfalone, not Patrick Paul. Patrick Paul, who's that? Paul Panfalone, Plastic Battles, for his wonderful toy photography. I expect another one very soon, because he was on his Thursday Night Battles. He was showing his setup for what looks to be a really cool Pythona shot as well. But this one of the Royal Guard with his pet is amazing. And if you check out Thursday Night Battles, because Paul does some awesome kind of behind the scenes stuff and talks about, you know, all the different like elements to his photography and everything. It's really, really awesome, and really enjoyed his episode on Thursday as well on Instagram. You can go check that out. But anyway, there you go. And yes, Figure Six Pack, indeed. Rest in peace to James DeSimone, who obviously did the G.I. Joe guides back in the day. Some of the first like amazing G.I. Joe books. If you were like looking to keep track of your collection and all that stuff, incredible books, and a wonderful guy, and so sad to hear of his passing as well this week. So bloody sad. So yes, absolutely, rest in peace, James DeSimone. And I'm sorry I haven't put anything in the actual, you know, visual on here, but it's mainly because I just forgot to add it. So thank you for reminding me, Figure Six Pack. That is actually really important. And yes, indeed, rest in peace, James DeSimone. Again, those books, those early kind of like guide books were absolutely invaluable. I have all of those, in fact. Like I remember kind of not knowing about them until like much later on as well. But yeah, really, really sad. And yeah, our thoughts go out to his family, of course, and close friends and everyone who enjoyed his wonderful guidebooks as well. Also, one last thing I want to talk about is Talking Force crossover episode. I did this with Mark from Talking Joe in the week, and we posted it. It's a fun little episode where we talk about our most wanted collector series, kind of like figure and comic packs from Super 7, based on the fact that we're getting that one with Cobra Commander and the first issue. So we talk about some of our most wanteds in there, and also things we expect to see, but also things we want to see as well. That was great. So thank you, Mark, for doing that. And go check out Talking Joe as well. Their episode is finished now, but you can go check the replay of their live where they talked about issue 326 today. That's it for the Full Force Weekly, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, chatting in the comments, all the super chats as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I will be back tomorrow for the Patreon crew. Annie's here. Hello, sweetheart. Well, I'm not sure she's going to be in time to get up here to say bye, but she might do. Hi. Do you want to come and say hi to everyone? Or bye to everyone? Do you want to say Full Force to everyone? Come here, then. Come here. She's just looking at me. She's like, I'm not interested, mate. Anyway, there you go. I'll be back for the Patreon crew tomorrow, and on this next week coming, obviously, I imagine news bursts left, right, and center. And if I don't see you before then, hopefully I'll see you on the next weekly. However you consume this particular channel, I'll see you on the next one. And of course, we've got Skeletron as well. We've got Ben and Mark from Skeletron on the show. We've got Bob and Brian to talk about My Power Toy Story. We've got all sorts coming up. And of course, in the works, Lenny, Tony, B-Mac, and also Mark Beasley. So lots to come. Hope you enjoy it. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And as always, after 3, you know what to do. You can't come here. Come and say bye to everyone. Come on, everyone wants to see you. Come on, sweetie pie. No? Okay, she's not playing ball today. 1, 2, 3. Full force. Later. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.